Good evening, welcome to the February 18th Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Teresa, you call the roll.
Councilwoman Standard? Here. Councilwoman Romano? Sorry.
Here.
Councilwoman Wallowitz? Here. Supervisor Barrett?
Here. Entertain a motion to approve Town Board meeting minutes of February 3rd and 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Romano, second by Ms. Wallowitz. Discussion.
Councilwoman Standard? Yes. Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes, communications and announcements. I mentioned the organic lawn care day.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The Green Committee has secured a grant to provide free training to any interested parties, businesses and homeowners, for how to maintain healthy lawns without the use of harmful pesticides. These instructional meetings will be held at the Clifton Park Half-Moon Library on February 24th through February 27th. All the information is online at cliftonpark.org. And we are limited, the library and the training has been limited to about 100, but we still have a little bit of room for folks who are interested in signing up. You can attend all the sessions, you can attend parts of the session. It's all up to you. If you do attend the entire series, this is especially important for businesses, receive an accreditation for organic lawn management, land management. So all our information is on the website at cliftonpark.org, and we folks have a good showing. We've got a lot of people signed up right now, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, so far the response has been very good. It's open to residents, property managers, entities that have grounds that they need to care for. Invited my fellow municipalities in Saratoga County, so we do expect to continue to have a good response and a session in which people can learn more about varying options with regard to taking care of their property. Here at the town, over the last several years, we've incorporated new types of treatments into our standard operating procedures, and they work fine and are considered less harmful to some organisms and groundwater. So all good in that category. Any other communications and announcements? All right, so we had Winterfest this past Saturday. I want to thank everybody that worked hard to make that day a success. It was a full day. We had, is Frank still here? Oh, did he leave? Frank was instrumental in helping out with our ice fishing, and we had about 15 to 20 kids show up for that, so that was a good display. The Clifton Park Idol competition. Want to congratulate Julia Gold and Tim Luby, who won the two age groups for Clifton Park Idol. Ravenswood won the soup contest for the second year in a row. So we congratulate them. We'll have them here at a town board meeting soon to officially congratulate them. Riverview Orchards had a great turnout for the festivities there. All in all, it was a very busy, full day in the town, and we do want to thank everybody for taking part in it and working to make it a successful day. All right, on to business. First up, we have a resolution honoring a gentleman that has worked on behalf of the town of Clifton Park for decades. Perhaps the longest running volunteerism in consecutive years that I've been associated with or know of. And that's Bill Sekelic. He'll be receiving tonight the town's highest honor, which is the key to the town of Clifton Park. We do have a resolution that speaks to Bill's service. Teresa?
A resolution recognizing William Sekelic, Esquire, for 40 years of service to the people of the town of Clifton Park. Whereas William Sekelic has been a member of the town Board of Assessment Review for 40 years, having been appointed in 1979 and served as the board's chairman from 1985 through 2019. And whereas the Board of Assessment Review provides an administrative mechanism for the grievance of real property tax assessments throughout the town, and membership requires extensive knowledge of the factors impacting the valuation of a wide variety of types, classifications, and uses of real property for the board's effective review of tax challenges from residential and commercial landowners. And whereas during Mr. Sekelic's tenure on the board, he led the review of some 5,000 administrative appeals of tax assessments, providing expertise and good judgment as he guided many fellow board members over 40-plus years, exercising leadership through larger-scale assessment initiatives over the years. And whereas Mr. Sekelic is an experienced attorney whose institutional knowledge of real property valuations and comparisons throughout the town has enabled the board to provide a smooth and effective review process for landowners throughout the 4 decades of growth, modernization, and expansion of the town's tax base. And whereas the board wishes to thank William Sekelic for his fair and diligent approach to the duties and responsibilities of the Clifton Park Board of Assessment Review, which he consistently discharged with grace and good humor. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the people of Clifton Park, the town board awards the key to the town to William Sekelic in recognition of 40 years of dedicated service to the town as its chairman of the Board of Assessment Review.
I move that we approve the resolution with a second by the entire board.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. As the resolution stated, Bill has been volunteering on behalf of the town of Clifton Park for a few years, dating back to 1979. Chairman of the Board of Assessment since 1985, so that's a long run, a long successful run. During that time, it is estimated Bill and the members of the Board of Assessment reviewed over 5,000 cases. And when you consider the amount of time that Bill invested in the town of Clifton Park over the last 40 years, I can't imagine what those hours would be. It would be a tremendous investment of time. And the Board of Assessment is not an easy position. It's often overlooked, you know. But it's not an easy position. It's important to integrate fairness and research and the ability to handle multiple elements in each and every case. It's also incredibly important that there be a consistent outlook to be fair to everybody throughout the town when reviewing a case. And Bill has done that with class, dignity, and good humor for many years. I first worked with Bill personally when I was a member of the Board of Assessment back in the mid-90s for a couple of years, and saw firsthand the amount of time and effort that Bill invested in each and every case. Everybody that came in front of the Board of Assessment was treated with respect and fairness, and I don't think there's anything more we can ask of any of the volunteers that serve on the many boards of the town of Clifton Park. So Bill, with that, I'd like to ask you to come up and say a few words. Bill has decided to retire as of the end of 2019. Our new chairman, Mr. Keegan, is here this evening, also a veteran of the Board of Assessment. And I see other members of the Board of Assessment. Todd Hess is here, as well as Marlis McGinnis. Hope I'm not missing anybody. Oh, Eric Opar. Eric, how are you? So come on up. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I find this embarrassing to stand up here and receive an honor for having the privilege of serving as a member and chairman of the Board of Assessment Review for all of these years. In the second year, I was actually elected chairman in the second year of my service. That year, I think it was 1980, we had a reassessment. And in that year, we had 998 grievances that we had to settle. It was a lot of work. I really didn't think I was going to be back for too many other years, but kept coming back and saw 2 more reassessments along the way. What happened with in 1984, I think in that year the politics of the town changed, and somebody else was elected chairman that year. But then the following year, that person had resigned, and I was back to being chairman.
Old Faithful.
And you know, I did try very hard over the years to see that everybody was fairly assessed. Basically, if the house next door was assessed for, let's say, $100,000, and you're assessed for $120,000, you know, was there really a reason for that? And should you get a reduction? And we didn't hesitate to grant reductions in those situations to make it fair for everybody. And I know that the chairman's going to do the same thing. But over the years, when I first was on the board, Penny Smith was the assessor. She had a hard job back then. The rules were different than they are today. Then Walter Smead took over. He's been around for a long time now. And Walter saw the law change to make it substantially easier than it was back then, because all of a sudden Walter was allowed to settle cases after a grievance was filed. And that made it much easier, and far fewer grievances since then. So in the last few years, it was really easy to hang on. You know, but we did see a lot of people coming up. You know, I remember one instance where somebody came up and saying that their house was only worth $100,000. I don't remember the exact number, but he had a $120,000 mortgage. and so he wanted his assessment to reflect the lower amount. And I said, well, how is that possible? Is this bank stupid? You know, but I always did try to let people walk away with a sense of fairness. If somebody came up with a application that was not correctly filled out, we tried to help them so that they would not have to be rejected for technical reasons. Anyway, it is embarrassing, and it's especially embarrassing to get this key to the town of Clifton Park, especially since it's the second time we've gotten the key.
With the gold cluster.
So, anyway, thank you very much.
So, Bill, you know, when we thought about how can we honor your service, I looked back and I said, well, geez, you know, with all those consecutive years of service, I don't want to tell you how old I was when you started. So I was in middle school, but that's all right. But on behalf of the town board, Bill, we thank you for your 4 decades of consecutive service to the town of Clifton Park. We appreciate everything that you've done on behalf of the town. As the number of homes grew over the years since 1979, and our tax base in general has grown, which is now over $5 billion. It takes a team to make all that work, and also answer concerns from residents with regard to their individual properties. And as I mentioned before, Bill has certainly done that with integrity, grace, and good humor. And we just thank you. We thank all of the members of the Board of Assessment that are here tonight with a great show of support. I know Walter Smead certainly appreciated having you there, somebody experienced, somebody that was very competent, knew the laws, knew how the system worked, and I think it made his job a lot easier when he came in, although now it has been some time ago. So thank you, Bill. We're going to miss you very much, but we wish you all the best in your next endeavor. Is that fair?
Good luck.
All right. So as I mentioned, I don't know that anybody has served that long in consecutive years as a volunteer of the town of Clifton Park, and we certainly appreciate everybody's volunteer service. I say all the time, the town is blessed with a tremendous amount of volunteers that do invest their time day in and day out to make this town great. We do have several resolutions for consideration this evening. Teresa, if you would read them, please.
A resolution, authorizing the superintendent of highways to promote Matthew Farnsworth and Ryan Ansel, each to the position of working supervisor within the highway department. Whereas 2 vacancies exist in the highway department for working supervisors, and whereas superintendent of highways Dan Bull wishes to promote Matthew Farnsworth, 19 Forest Drive, Hose, and Ryan Ansel, 6 Pintail Place, Waterford, and whereas Mr. Farnsworth has been with the department for nearly 20 years, is well acclimated with the job duties and practices of the department, and has experience in leading a team and project management. And whereas Mr. Ansel has 18 years of construction and highway maintenance experience, as well as previously being a department head with another municipality, and has led crews competently and effectively for the highway department. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the promotion of Matthew Farnsworth and Ryan Ansel to the title of working supervisors, and be it further resolved that Mr. Farnsworth will be promoted to a grade 7, step 4, year 1, and Mr. Ansel will be promoted to a grade 7, step 1, year 1, effective retroactively to February 3rd, 2020, and be it further resolved that the funds necessary for these promotions be allocated as per the attached Schedule A. A resolution authorizing the superintendent of highways to hire Robert Cruz III as a laborer in the highway department, whereas after the promotion of John D. Simones to the building and development department, a vacancy exists in the highway department, and whereas superintendent of highways Dan Bull has recommended the hiring of Robert Cruz III, Class D, 115 Pine Hill Road, Mechanicsville, and whereas Mr. Cruz studied mechanical engineering at Clarkson University and earned a degree in mechanical technology from SUNY Canton, graduating in 2014, while having a past work history involving disaster relief response, landscaping, and commercial construction. And whereas Mr. Bull recommends hiring Mr. Coons as a laborer and initiating the training and certification necessary to become a Class B commercial operator and a Department of Motor Vehicles licensed inspector for the department. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorize the hiring of Robert Cruz III as a laborer at grade 4, step 1, at a salary of $44,121 at a rate of $21.05 an hour, effective Wednesday, February 19, 2020, and be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer $26,944 from Highway General Repairs MEO, spring, summer, fall, and $11,283 from snow removal employee from the winter. Be it further resolved that Mr. Coon be paid at the above-mentioned hourly rate from general repairs working supervisor, spring, summer, fall, and from snow removal working supervisor employee for the remainder of the calendar year with a transfer from highway to the snow removal employee. A resolution authorizing a single cut Beer Smith Brewery to use town highways for their charity road race 5K on May 2nd, 2020. Whereas Single Cut Beer Smith Brewery has requested the use of the town of Clifton Park roadways as specified and the attached hereto for the purpose of holding a 5K charity road race on Saturday, May 2nd, 2020 from 10 a.m. until the last participant completes the course, and whereas the event sponsors have coordinated with the town's highway superintendent for the safe use of town roads, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes Single Cut Beer Smith Brewery for use of town highways as specified in the attached hereto, May 2nd, 2020 at 10 a.m. for the purpose of holding a 5K charity road race to benefit Helping Hands School. And be it further resolved that this approval is expressly conditioned upon receipt prior to April 20th, 2020 in the office of the highway superintendent of an insurance certificate in the amount of $1 million named in the town of Clifton Park as an additional insured, and be it further resolved that this approval is expressly conditioned upon the roads not being closed, but employees of Single Cut Beer Smith Brewery are permitted to temporarily stop traffic at each end of the course in the event both the vehicle and race participant arrive at the same time. A resolution approving a grant contract with the County of Saratoga to support the purchase of 1012 Thoroughbred Way for trail connection, whereas by Resolution 258 of 2019, the Saratoga County Board of Supervisors approved the extension of a farmland and open space preservation grant to help support the town's purchase of land from the Clifton Park Water Authority for a trail connection between Mystic Lane and Thoroughbred Way in the Stony Creek Park District, and whereas the farmland and open space preservation grant will provide up to $34,450 in funds towards the purchase and related acquisition costs necessary to advance the project, contingent upon the town expending an equal amount in the total project costs, and whereas the town board wishes to accept the grant contract and to approve the purchase of the property, now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the attached grant contract with the County of Saratoga. A resolution approving a real estate purchase contract with the Clifton Park Water Authority for a 1.03-acre parcel of land to facilitate construction of the Mystic Thoroughbred Trail connection in the Stony Creek Park District. Whereas the town board wishes to advance the Mystic Thoroughbred Trail connection project in the Stony Creek Park District by acquiring a parcel of land identified as SBL 283.12-1-70 located at 1012 Thoroughbred Way, which would provide a trail connection for the project, and whereas the Saratoga County Board of Supervisors has approved an open space acquisition grant to assist the town with the purchase of the property, and whereas on February 10, 2020, the Clifton Park Water Authority Board approved the sale of the property for $62,000 based on its appraised value. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute the attached real estate purchase and sale agreement to acquire the property for the planned trail connection project, and be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer funds to offset the cost of the acquisition in the first instance as follows. Revenues increased by $31,000 from undesignated fund balance. Revenues increased by $31,000 from grant from Saratoga County. Other government revenues. Expenditures increased by $62,000. General fund, other town payments, other contractual expenditures increased by no more than $2,000 from undesignated fund balance for title work. A resolution authorizing the establishment of a Veterans Committee for the purpose of honoring living and deceased veterans from or residing in Clifton Park. Whereas the town is and always has been home to many men and women who selflessly have answered the call of service for our country, both in times of war and in times of peace. And whereas the people of the town of Clifton Park and town boards over many generations have always honored and remembered the many sacrifices made by such men and women, including through the World War II Honor Roll, Hometown Heroes recognition, supporting troops deployed overseas, and highway designations for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas the town board wishes to appoint a committee who will examine and discuss the coordination of the recognition of and support of our veterans through events, ceremonies, workshops, and programs throughout the year. And whereas the committee will consist of a supervisor and a town board member to serve as liaison, as well as up to 7 volunteers appointed from the community. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board establishes the Veterans Committee. A resolution authorizing the promotion of Patrick Gibbons, Vince Bongiorino, and Ray Zeller, currently motor equipment operator, MEO, to senior motor equipment operator in the Buildings and Grounds Department, whereas Buildings and Grounds Supervisor Daniel Clemens has recommended the advancement of MEOs within the department due to the retirement of Thomas Nadler on January 31st, 2020, and whereas Mr. Clemens asked that Patrick Gibbons, Vince Bongiorino, and Ray Zeller be promoted by the town board from MEO to senior MEO in the Buildings and Grounds Department, and whereas the above referenced employees are qualified for the position for civil service classifications. Now therefore be it resolved that Vince Bongiorino, 369 Lovers Lane, Amsterdam, is hereby promoted to senior MEO, grade 6, step 8, year 3, $65,702 a year, effective February 19, 2020, and be it further resolved that Patrick Gibbons, 1345 Point Road, Broad Albany, is hereby promoted to senior MEO, grade 6, step 7, year 3, $63,215 a year, effective February 19, 2020, and be it further resolved that Raymond Zeller, 300 Stone Church Road, Ballston Spa, is hereby promoted to senior MEO, grade 6, 7, step 7, year 3, $63,215 a year, effective February 19, 2020, and be it further resolved that the additional salary increases be paid with the transfer of $7,882 from Buildings and Grounds employee Thomas Nadler as per attached Schedule A. A resolution creating the position of valuation assistant for the office of the sole assessor and promoting Kelly L. Miller, currently senior assessment clerk for the office, in the position of valuation assistant in the assessor's office. Therefore, whereas Walter Smead, assessor, has recommended the establishment of the title for a valuation assistant within the office of sole assessor, based on the volume and complexity of valuation work required of the office, and whereas Ms. Miller is qualified for the position per the Saratoga County Department of Human Resources Civil Service eligibility list resulting from exam number 69239, and Mr. Smead has requested that she be promoted into the position based on her education, training, and experience. Now therefore be it resolved that the position of valuation assistant is hereby created in the office of sole assessor per the attached job description provided by the Saratoga County Human Resources Department, and be it further resolved that Kelly L. Miller, 13 Kimberly Court, Clifton Park, is hereby promoted to valuation assistant, grade 8, step 4, $69,784 a year, effective February 19, 2020, and be it further resolved that the additional salary increases be paid with a transfer of $5,863 from general fund assessment other program expenses to general fund assessment. Kelly Miller. Whereas a resolution appointing Garinda Garsha, thank you, as a member of the Town of Clifton Park Open Space, Trails, and Riverfront Advisory Committee, whereas an opening exists on the Open Space, Trails, and Riverfront Committee with the seat vacated by Paul Jessup at the end of 2019, whereas Garinda Garsha, 6 Westwind Way, Clifton Park, New York, 12065, has been recommended to fill the position, whereas the town board wishes to appoint Garinda Garsha as a member of the committee. Now therefore be it resolved that Garinda Garsha is hereby appointed to the Town of Clifton Park Open Space, Trails, and Riverfront Committee to the remainder of a 2-year term to expire December 31st, 2021. A resolution scheduling a public hearing on a proposed local law imposing a moratorium on residential subdivision applications and and approvals in the town's conservation residential zone. Whereas on April 11, 2005, a resolution number 94, 2005 of that year, the town board adopted the Western Clifton Park generic environmental impact statement. And whereas on May 5, 2005, a resolution number 120 of 2005, the board enacted conservation residential zoning for residential development in the western part of town. And whereas, as the 15th anniversary of the enactment of these land use planning regulations approaches, the town board wishes to study potential updates to the GEIS and resulting zoning regulations. And whereas the town board wishes to consider imposing a moratorium on further subdivision of land within the existing conservation residential zone in order to provide sufficient time to conduct appropriate studies and analysis of the direction and trends for future development within the CR zone. And whereas the town board wishes to solicit public comment on an approval to supersede and suspend sections 276 and 267B of the New York State Town Law relative to time period regulations and default provisions, as well as jurisdiction of the ZBA to grant relief from the moratorium in order to adequately conduct studies of the future direction of such development that is most consistent with the best interests of the community within conflicting projects and applications processed under existing statutory timeframes. Now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing is scheduled for March 9th, 2020 at 7:05 p.m. in the Memorial Room, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Clifton Park, New York, on a proposal to impose a 6-month moratorium on residential subdivision within the conservation residential zone, and therefore be it resolved that the attached proposal be referred to the Saratoga County Planning Board for its review pursuant to section 239M of the New York State General Municipal Law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk shall publish and post the attached notice.
Okay. Any questions on the resolutions? Okay, you can read the headings, Teresa, and we'll consider each one.
Resolution number 33 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the superintendent of highways to promote Matthew Farnsworth and Ryan Ansel each to the position of working supervisor within the highway department.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Ms. Baldwin. Like to have